welcome to another video, and I'll be starting a series on AWS SAM, the Serverless Application Model. And if you're familiar with infrastructure as code, you know that it's important to have some knowledge of working with the cloud via infrastructure as code. So deploying applications, interacting with your cloud environment, just with your terminal and other infrastructure as code platforms. For instance, I've heard of Terraform, CloudFormation, and there's also SAM. So let's move on. I'll be dividing this into some modules, and I'll have to actually break it based on the modules, so you have a flow of it and not get overwhelmed with just one video. So firstly, you need these requirements: Docker desktop, which is required to simulate the Lambda runtime locally, SAM CLI, AWS CLI. I'm actually making use of Python, but there's Node.js. I think there's a module that actually uses Node.js there. And then, so these are just the basic requirements. If you don't have any of these, you might just search for it and make sure you configure them properly. So I won't do that in this video. I just want to go straight to the point and not take so much time. So firstly, an overview of SAM. So SAM is an open source framework for building serverless applications on AWS. It simplifies the process of defining and deploying serverless resources like Lambda functions, APIs, DynamoDB tables, and more. So with SAM, you can actually build your serverless applications without the need of going one by one and launching it. If you have like a template, you can just do one or two configurations and then deploy it, and from there you can actually have your services running on AWS. So it's based on CloudFormation, and with the knowledge of SAM, you can actually do a lot. And this is going to be something like an Hello World project for you to follow up and see how everything works. So moving on, I'll just take you through the key components and basic workflows. These are the important things you need to know. But although we'll be looking at them one after the other, we'll be diving deep into every single one of these things. But you initialize your project, you build your project, you can do a local test, and then deploy. So one of the important things is the template.yaml file, and it actually has like the list of resources and everything you want to put into your application. So for instance, your hello world function, you define it there. You can define every other thing that you have to do that you want to build with this particular application you are working on. So SAM init initializes the project, SAM build, SAM local start API, although there's another one to actually do the local testing, and we'll see that, and then deploy. And so these are the four major commands you need to have in mind. And here I just kept some benefits. So you can test your Lambda functions and APIs locally using Docker. So you will need to actually run Lambda on the cloud to test your Lambda function. So you can test your Lambda function even just on your local machine. So some benefits like simplifying infrastructure as code with serverless specific syntax, supports local testing and debugging, and it integrates tightly with CI/CD workflows. We have a module that would go through that also, and it uses standard AWS services like CloudFormation, Lambda, and others. would work with Lambda, work with API Gateway, and DynamoDB. So moving on. Okay, that was a mistake. Yeah, so firstly we'll create the SAM app. So initialize our project and we'll look at the structure of the application, and we can also do a review. So you can just go through this. I'll share this so you can actually read some of these things. Is based on a documentation, the link is on the first and last pages, and then you can go open the link to see the source and everything about it. So we'll be initializing the project, and I'm just going to pull up PowerShell. Yeah, so we'll be using PowerShell. I think I have an updated version. Okay, yeah, so let me make use of this, or anyone though. So there's a folder I've prepared for this, which is, let me close out of this. Okay, yeah, so I want to make use of this, so you need the folder you'll be making use of ready. So I'll just seed into this. So yes, and as I said, I'll be following you through. I'll be walking you through with this. So if you are following along, you have this and you can follow along. So to get our project, we just run SAM init. So it's like the initialization. Make this big. So SAM init initializes your project. Okay, yeah. So we'll be making use of a quick start template, and then the hello world example. So we won't use this. Use the most popular runtime package type, no. And then instead, let's go with Python 3.9. So that's 14. And the the package is zip. So I just leave this as, I just click enter. No X-ray, no CloudWatch, monitoring, no. So I leave it as SAM app. Yes. So now, okay. We have that. So if I come down here to this folder, we can see that we have. So once you open the folder, you'll be able to see everything. And this is a very important file, the template.yaml file. In the hello world, you'll see your Lambda. This is the Lambda function that will actually be running, but if you want to modify it, you can, and we'll be doing some modifications also. For testing, there's a testing folder. We'll do some tests too. And this event is actually to simulate API gateway and pass the event into hello world. We can open this. Okay, so you can see the event.json file. So it's kind of like an API gateway kind of input, or should I say data that would be sent to the Lambda function. So I'm just going to close this for now. I'll be coming back to some of these things. So now we have the application set up. So what is next? We've initialized it. Then let's come down to here, understanding the SAM application. So as I've shown you, okay, initialize it. So as I've shown you, there are some important files that are there, and there's the API gateway, there's the simulation of API gateway with events, and you can actually just run it depending on how you want to go about it. So we'll look at that too. Then we have the Lambda function, and of course the IAM rule. So take a look at the file and see some of these things. So when you create this SAM project, you have your Lambda function API gateway. So when you send your GET request, API gateway triggers the Lambda function and the function runs with permissions to access other services. So you might actually need to, there's a basic Lambda rule that Lambda function uses, which is just for cloud, for monitoring, yeah. But then you have to extend the functionalities and extend the rule to be able to access other services like DynamoDB and the rest. So let's take a look at the files and to see what is inside. And I'll come down to, so this is the one I just created, and that is the template.yaml file. So this is it. I've actually I've worked on it before, so I'm just doing this so that you actually see everything the way it is without modifications. I've done some modifications previously, but this is actually how it is from scratch. So yes, you have your hello world function, and it defines where the function actually is. So you would see it's in the hello world folder. You have the application app is the name of the file, and the name of the function is Lambda handler. We're around the runtime is 3.9, and the event it will receive is API, and the path is hello get. So when we actually run a get method with the path of hello, we'll be able to get a response. So these are the two resources within this application. So you have globals, which are just like variables, like timeout, memory size. Then CloudFormation, as I said, is based on CloudFormation. So the template format version, the transform is based on, it just tells which type of data that, or the structure of the file, and it's structured based on the CloudFormation model. So you have outputs. You also see this when we look at the CloudFormation console. You can be able to see the outputs there and see the resources that were created. So that's it for the template.yaml file. I also open the what other thing do we need to look at here? So hello world. And as I said earlier, app is the name of the file. So if you come down to you'll see that so app.lambda handler. So if I open this this app, which is the let me open VS Code. So you'll be able to see the Lambda function. So this is the Lambda handler. So if you actually change this Lambda handler, maybe to read a different name, you will have to modify it here on the template file, so that it will know the function that it is supposed to reference. So so this is the, I'm sure you're familiar with this if you've been using Lambda for a while. Status code, body, and the message. So we can do some modifications here. I'll just change it so that we'll be able to see the outputs change also. So heading back, so if you read this, you can be able to see some of the things I've mentioned. So transform tells AWS that your template follows the AWS Serverless Application Model, which is built on CloudFormation, and the globals tells you all the settings that you want to apply, so you don't have to repeat that part. The hello world function, the events, tells SAM what triggers the Lambda function, so the get request to hello path using API gateway. So outputs, this part is optional, but from CloudFormation you'll be able to see all the outputs, and if you want to integrate it with other templates.